All right, good to see you on a Monday. This is going to be a special edition of the Steve Gruber Show. Not live from Studio G. But from McAllen, Texas, live from the border. We'll do some special programming the next 3 days here, and then it's on to Washington, D.C. For CPAC. So we've got a lot in store for you this week. I'm excited to be able to do this with you. We got a couple of technical issues we're going to skate through here in case we have a couple of gremlins. It's not easy to get to the border here and broadcast, but we've pulled it off. And we're here. And so last night I had a chance to talk to a couple of different gentlemen who work with organizations that are trying to educate Hispanic people coming to this country on the principles of conservatism. It's extremely important, and we had those conversations last night. I want to share one of those with you right now.
After I landed here in McAllen, Texas, and drove through town, big town, by the way, and honestly a very nice town. And I was surprised not to see more evidence of the problems at the border, because quite clearly there are problems at the border. George Martinez has been here for a number of years. He's with the Libre Initiative. George, good to have you.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
First of all, tell me about the Libre Initiative. What is it?
Well, we're a national nonprofit 501c4 organization, and we are here to inform the community, the Hispanic community, about the principles that make us free, those principles of limited government, of the rule of law. And so that's what we do. We inform the community on policy, and we do a lot of the grassroots work where we do phone banking and canvassing, and we lobby our lawmakers on issues as well.
All right, so you've been here for a number of years. Born in Monterrey, Mexico, you said. So obviously, you understand the Spanish culture, and you understand a lot of these folks that come across the border. We see a lot of different things out there in the hinterlands. I'm in Michigan. We see a lot of different reports and so forth. I come to McAllen. I see no real evidence, and I wonder, what's the truth? So what is the truth? Why do I not see here what I would think should be obvious?
You're not the first person to ask me this, because many who are not from here see that this community is pretty safe, and it is one of the safest in Texas. With that said, we do have our issues, and those issues are right on the border. And our Border Patrol agents do a really good job of catching those that want to come in here. Many obviously allow themselves to be caught, but some do get away. With that said, there is a section of our border that we've secured, and so our migration is moving west. And
so to places like Del Rio, Eagle Pass, it shifts out of the spot where it's tough to get in. It finds a path of least resistance.
Yeah, now what we're seeing in Eagle Pass as well is when there is security, as Governor Abbott has done out there, now migration is going even further west. And you're starting to see numbers go down to 300 to 400 a day versus 3,000 to 4,000 back in December.
So pushed into New Mexico, Arizona, California. That's what you're saying?
That's what we're seeing as of right now. So we are seeing that, hey, we need a secure border. We need a tall fence, wide gates.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the Libre Initiative. Teaching conservative principles to the Hispanic community. Well, the Hispanic community, to me, is reasonably conservative to begin with. Catholicism, faith, family, hard work. They sound like natural-born conservatives.
That's right. Family and faith are very important to our culture. Not only that, but we're raised in a family and cultures where we don't make maybe a lot of money, right? We didn't come from wealth. Not everybody. Some people do, and that's great. But at least for me and my family, we really watch where our money's going. And a lot of us in our culture don't see money as a tool, we see it as a necessity, right? So what we're trying to do now at the Libre Initiative is also show how money being a tool can help us prosper by investing that money and being able to create jobs, create businesses for others.
So when you look at, the obvious front headline day after day on national news and the cable news networks and the talking heads, people like me, you see us out there talking about the border. Does it concern you, having lived here for this number of years? Does it concern you that we have 3.5, maybe 4 million people coming into this country illegally every year?
It absolutely does concern me. Look, I live here on the border. I want my family to be safe. I want everyone to be safe. With that said, though, even though we see numbers are going down, we still have to enforce our current laws, and that's not happening at the federal level. And I think President Biden has done a horrible job to enforce those laws. So I have family that work for Border Patrol, and morale is very low. There's about 25% or so that want to leave the job because they just can't do the job, right? So,
and they're short on numbers already.
Yeah, in this area, in the Rio Grande sector, we have about 3,000 to 4,000 agents, and total, I believe it's about 15,000 across the border. Give a few numbers there.
Sure. So the Border Patrol is demoralized. The Biden administration not doing its job. What do we do here? I mean, what is the real solution for those of you that live here in a border community, which McAllen, Texas is a border community? You guys must have these discussions here locally.
Yes, and look, a few years ago, this was a bigger issue here, but the city, the nonprofits here have done a really good job to help come together and at least process the folks who are coming here. And we've really done a good job in showcasing that this isn't just a border problem. This is a United States of America problem. And that's why you're seeing the migration, or those people that are getting shipped to really the Northeast, to show that, hey, this is your problem. You have more resources in New York versus a town like McAllen. We got to come together. We need a secure border. And that could be a mixture of technology. That could be more Border Patrol agents, more infrastructure, a mixture of all of that. And then later on, we also need to increase or improve our immigration system.
A secure border, whatever it takes, is what you're saying.
Well, we need a secure border in any form of fashion that is obviously going to be helpful for us as those that live here. But also, like I said, we need wide gates. So as a country of immigrants, we need to have a pathway for those that want to come here legally from their countries.
Legally, though.
Legally, yes. Look, I came from Mexico, born in Mexico. My family did too, legally. And my parents were farm workers. I got to work in the fields. It's hard work. It's noble work. But not every day my mom came to me and said, hey, I want you to work in the fields. No, that wasn't her dream for me. Her dream was to follow my dream, whatever that was. And we want others to have that opportunity. But you know what? We need to have that secure border so that we can then have that immigration reform.
Without the secure border, without that is a foundation. I mean, there's really no place else to go. You have to start with secure border, whether it's electronics, high tech, Border Patrol agents, a wall, whatever it might be. We have to start there, is what you're saying.
Absolutely. Now, ideally, I'd love to see both at the same time. But what we're seeing in Congress is, one, the Republicans and Democrats don't like to work together. So that's probably not going to happen. We need to find a way for both parties to win. So we will need to have that secure border. And if Democrats want to get on board, Republicans will also have to give up something too. So both sides need to win.
Yeah. Maybe we should consider the idea of not putting everything together, Ukraine, Taiwan, Israel, the border. Maybe we should have separate bills to decide each major consideration, because every one of those are major considerations. Now, over the next couple of days, I'll be with George. I'll be with his partner, Kennedy, from the Libre Initiative. We're going to take a tour of the border, so that's a bit of a preview. But we're going to see you for the next couple of days. We'll talk a lot more about this. George, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Martinez. He is with the Libre Initiative. He is one of the folks here on the border with us. That we're going to be touring the border here, as I said, tomorrow and today. We'll be touring the border, getting a firsthand experience. I was here 10 years ago, and so for me to be here now it's just different. We went from 400,000 illegals a year to 3.2 million. That happened under the Biden administration. We're going to talk with Kennedy LaFave, also with the Libre Initiative, more in depth about immigration reform. When we return here live from McAllen, Texas, this is the Steve Gruber Show.